Salamat po. Kindly sit down. You know, I cannot struggle around the floor because protocol and procedure requires us presidents to always take the lectern of the presidency. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Former President President Ramos, my number one critic and number one supporter. And that is good. Yeah. You know, dissent and criticism would make this democratic country healthy. Former Chief of Justice Artemio Panganiban, sir, magandang gabi po. Attorney Avelino Cruz, Abay, Reverend Father Marañon, Director of San Beda College, Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdia, Justice Vitaliano Aguirre and members of the Cabinet, officers, trustees, and members of the San Beda Law Alumni Association, my fellow workers in government, my beloved countrymen. Abraham Lincoln, the President of the United States, could not have been more correct when he said, and I quote, "If I were to try to read, much less answer all attacks made on me, this shop, the office of the President, might as well be closed for any other business. I do the very best I know how, the very best I can, and I mean to keep doing so until the end. If the end brings me out all right, what is said against me won't amount to anything. But if the end brings me out wrong, 10 angels of God swearing I was right would make no difference." At the start of the campaign, and even when I was mayor, I was very emphatic about the issues that it would destroy the country if it is not interdicted. You know, ayaw kong magyabang, and President Ramos is here. Pero kung hindi ako ang naging presidente, itong problema sa droga, which is really a virulent issue, and of course activity, hindi ito lalabas ng totoo. You know, initially, while I was campaigning, I was already mentioning some generals who were involved in the drug industry. And I warned them, nagkakampanya pa ako, but hindi ko na lang sinasabi yung pangalan. Pag ako ang naging presidente, habulin ko kayo. And there is still time. Maybe you want to quit now that hindi pa ako ang naging presidente. So, nung nanalo ako, I named in already known personalities. But to my horror, after the so many names that I mentioned, the final report of the Beda from all sources collated from the, of course, the national intelligence, the intelligence community, the NBI, lahat. Binigyan ako ng kopya na gano'n kapal. So sinabi ko, medyo maproblema ito. Ngayon, as validated, submitted to me during a Senate, a cabinet meeting, ganon kakapal. So isip-isip ko, tinawagan ko ulit. So the last civilian agency na walang ka-alam-alam dyan, at least there is no bigotry in it, kasi hindi naman sila connected sa DILG. And as validated, ganun kakapal. Kaya tinawag ko yung cabinet sila, bingbong, pati yung mga dalo. Sabi ko, hindi ko ito kaya. And even if, assuming na sinasabi nila pinapatay ko, sabi ko sa kanila, I will run out of time and bullets. Because in this report, nandiyan na lahat. It all came to pass. Yung pangalanan ko, mga generals, they kept on cropping up, like Luot. Baski sa ang Region 1 Intelligence Report, lumalabas yung pangalan niya. Sabi ko, who is this guy? Yung pala, kung saan siya na-assign noon, he was playing all along the drug industry. At ngayon, as submitted, nandiyan naman yung pangalan nila, and everybody else that were read by me earlier in the days of my administration. Ganon kakapal. So what I propose to do would be really, hindi ko talaga kaya. So about so many thousands policemen and mga itong barangay captains pati mga mayors, municipal, may mga city. How do I investigate them one at a time tapos? And if I will file charges, I would have to get some evidence. I will never accomplish that duty. Pero ito isa lumalabas to. The problem with this government is some people, when asking or demanding whether I am telling you the truth or not, is they want proof beyond reasonable doubt. E paghuli lang nga, probable cause. So when you are a president, you do not do that because it is not your duty to collect evidence. That's for the prosecutors and the police. So yung pagdumating sa akin, it behooves upon me just to validate ano ba talaga to. Then I try to call everyone kung may mga pinsan ako sa Lanao, gano'n. May mga pinsan ako na mga MNLF ron eh. So I tried to call them, ano ba to? Anong laro ninyo dyan? So I said, to my horror, ganun kakapal. So maybe before the end of the month, I will submit that report to the National Security Council at bigyan ko sila ng tag-isang kopya. And the Senate President and the Speaker of the House. Then let us formulate how to prevent a disaster for the next generation. Mabuti pa nga ang terrorism eh. I would rather deal with terrorism because actually it's just violence for a moment. Pagkatapos ng enkwentro, at least you know that you'll suffer some wounds or you die. But nahayaan kasi natin ng except during the time of President Ramos, and not I'm saying this because he's here, but simply is the truth. Kasi sa panahon niya nagtatrabaho ang mga pulis at takot sa Chief PC yan eh. Used to head the Philippine Constabulary. But I'm sorry to say, during the two administration, napabayaan talaga, and they were just paying lip service. They knew. But ako sa Davao, talagang humihirit ako kasi alam ko I would have a serious problem if I don't. I was trying to develop a city from the ashes of the martial years, yung away ng NPA pati gobyerno. And they used to shoot each other in the downtown area. I cannot be a mayor of a city na gano'n. So I started to clean it up. But I knew that the drugs then was pumuputok na eh. So nung sabi ko, when I became mayor, from a prosecutor to a sabi ko sa kanila, get out of the city. If you destroy the youth of the land, Which is really, ang anak natin ang future na. Ano bang, bakit ba tayo napapahirap? Why do we walk to us, to death on our ass just to, it's because of the children. Napabayaan, and the next generation is now in jeopardy. Ngayon, kung wala kang gagawin dito, I said, with the drug industry, ganon kakapal. Puro pangalan niya na. Elected officials, ganon. Police, ganon kakapal. So it would give you the magnitude of the problem to be solved. Hindi mo kaya ako sa Davao, sige, if you do not go out of the city, I'll kill you. Well, papatayan ka talaga, umalis. So wala akong napatay, kasi umalis. Saka yung nagpaiwan, namatay naman ang sarili nila. If it is not suicide, sasabihin sa'yo, umalis ka, patayin ka. Ayaw mong umalis. What do you call that? Homicide. Sinabi na nga umalis ka, kapag papatayin kita. So if you stand there in front of me, maybe make a, di sigurado. Pag ginanon mo ang, but what is really very important is the state of lawlessness. Kaya I tried my best. So Davao, would you believe it? Domestic income within the city. Economic growth hit sometimes, anong year yun? Ano mo siguro ni President Ramos? 9%. Yan ang Davao ngayon. Look at Davao now. Look at how clean Davao is. Kasi may pera eh. Pag may pera, pwede ka talaga mag-parlay ng dito sanitation, dito health services. Ngayon, Presidente, ang pag-usapan natin. Campaign. Let us enumerate. I said, if I become President, I will do away with corruption in government. And it will be. Maniwala kayo. Yayariin ko lahat ng corrupt. I am committed to it. Then I said, I will suppress drugs. Ginagawa ko rin. And believe me, until the last pusher is out of the streets and the last drug lord is exterminated, it will last until the last day of my term. Walang, di tao atras dyan. And I said, criminality, it has stymied our economic, social, and political life. It should also stop. I am just on the so many months of my term, I still have some enough elbow room for the next years to gawa ko ng plano, concoct something there to realize my objectives. And by the way, I know that even in this community of San Beda, we are divided. But during the campaign, and I'd like to remind you, even during the debates, I think it was in Cebu that we were asked the question. Kaming lahat dito. 3 of them responded to the question, will you allow or would you agree to the burial of Marcos here sa libingan ng mga bayani? Binay and I answered yes. May I remind you? Kasi pati yung, sabi ko, doon basta sa Davao. Because my mother was one of the yellow leaders sa Davao. There were only about 4 of them earlier in the days of martial law marching along the streets of Davao. At one time, she was talking before a crowd of security, police, and military. Yun lang ang crowd niya. At binagmumura niya yung... But, you know, as a son, I had to be there. And after that, I tendered my resignation to our head, Fiscal Galicia. Sabi ko, sir, as a matter of delicadeza, you know, my mother is... But you know, that's, huwag ka na lang, you can just keep quiet or be neutral. Ay, sabi ko, because nasa gobyerno ako, along the years, I tried 3 times. Every time, I was denied. So, I kept on to the last days, yung independence, on this day is the coup. I knew that it's not because of the Marcoses. Bate system lang. There's nothing close. We didn't had any dinner together except 1 or 2. Wala akong ano. But I knew that if I become president, I'll face the issue. So long before I studied really, because tayong lawyers, we are trying to just look at the law, and if it is clear, if it does not admit of any equivocal answer, no. Ay nakalagay doon, president, soldier. Whether true or not, that's not my business to dig into the history. Whether or not he became good or bad or worse along the years. That is not for me to decide. I know, abogado man tayo dito. And he was a soldier. If you say that he was a coward and did not receive the valor rightly so, oh, no, that's not my problem. I was not there. I was not a soldier. I was not even born that time. And I would not know whether he pulled the trigger or not against the enemy. So that's the long and short of it. You just have to understand my position. We are trained with cold neutrality. I was a prosecutor. So along the being extra powers is really to conduct the preliminary investigation aside of being a trial fiscal. Ganon. So kung anong nakalagay doon, yun na yun. And there is several jurisprudence pieces. You should not allow compassion and sentiment and whatever to taint your judgment. So all of these things will decide issues about the sentiments of the people, those who were hurt, and even my mother. Hindi lang aresto because at one time she was the wife of the governor of Davao, when Davao was only one at the time. It was divided into what Davao now, pareho-pareho yung pangalan Davao del Norte, Davao del Sur, Oriental, Davao City, Occidental. It's because they came from a mother province. When my father died, gerrymandering. So everybody was given his territory. And of course, it was all pressure. Rabat, yung asawa niya malapit kay Imelda, got Oriental. Danding Kuhangko and the Almendrases got the Davao Sur. Davao del Norte was given to the Florendos, yung Ninita Banana. So it was all politics. Philippines is all politics. Well, because we are a political country, we elect leaders. And they, the only problem is that we are just like, we are becoming like Africa. Pag nailagay mo na dyan, ayaw nang umalis ang mga buang. Yan ang mahirap. But what is really, I said, a horror to me, and listen to me very carefully. The last about 12 administrations, Hinayaan talaga nila. I'm not blaming the president. Yung mga tao mismo, yung may trabaho kung paano, di ba? Sila yung nandoon. You know, it's treason. Some of those come from the PMA, Philippine Military Academy. Gastos ng tao, pinakain ka, you provided uniforms, you get a good education, then you are given a job, second lieutenant, and it's good all the way, but of course it's dangerous. But you commit treason at the end of the day. Nung nasa itas ka na, kat pupunta ka sa akin, sabihin mo, wala ako doon. Maniwala kami, wala ako dyan sa ano. Pati ako bulahin mo. Kung bulahin mo, di anong gawin ko sa iyo? Putang ina ka, litsay ka. Kaya tama, totoo. Huwag mo akong bulahin, talagang madisgrasya ka. Sinasabi ko na nga publicly na you projected, you go to me and, well, of course. And then you go back to your territory, you renege everything you say, and then you continue your happy days. Because it is operated even inside prisons. Pareho yan lahat. Do you know that in the entire Philippines, the transactions are done? Kasi sabi ko sa mga pulis, pag may manakita ako ng utang inang prisuhan dyan na may cellphone, ipapakain ko sa inyong... Pag hindi mo hinampas yan sa ulo nila, they could not come to their senses. Because of money. Madali. Pakita mo, naghirap na ngayon ang supply. Ano ginagawa ng mga gagong ito? Bumabalik noon sa hold up, may kidnap na naman. Wala ka talaga. So the moral issue is, you build cases against them. How many policemen would you need to build a case? To just make some tips there, follow up here, follow him. How? For one criminal, ilan ang police kailangan mo? How much would you spend? And what is the timeline? Sa pagkakarami nito, ay ng ganito, nako, pag magsabi sila na makikita man kami sa, pati si Presidente sa National Security Council, pag sinabi niya, ikaw man yung Presidente, so anong gawin mo? Okay. Kasi pag mag-ano ako sa, I realize really the burden. Naging fiscal ako, naging mayor ako for 23 years. Alam ko ang laro. We indulge in illusions dyan sa ano. Believe me. Total, maging presidente man rin kayong balang araw. By the way, kung sana lang na, San Beda na to, sana pumayag lang kayo noon, whether na may mga babae rin sa klase namin, I could have done better. Tapos ganon kagaganda. I was just even pagkikilene, sabi ko yung tuhod mo, bilog na siguro, hindi ka na nagdadasal. That's what really ito. It's surrounded, dapat maging flat yan konti because women who go to church, medyo flat talaga yung tuhod. Ito lang simba-simba na yun, tignan mo. Makinis, sa totoo. Ayun lang naman. Ang problema kayo itong modern times and the living past, lahat na lang bawal. Tingnan mo si Presidente ko na, gustong maghubad. Those are things that are really what makes life nice here. Hindi ka na ay ako pala biro ako. Pati yung mga babae na polis, pinaghampas ko yan pag yung puwet, ginaganon ko. Diyan sa Malacanang, pag mainit ang ulo ko paglabas, daldala folder ko, isa ka pa. Ganon. Those are really sinubrahan kasi nitong Western Morris. Sumobra ang mga putang ina niya. Totoo. Bata na wala na tuloy ang gana ng buhay natin. Ano yun, what is clearly sexual harassment, especially if you are a superior. Ganon, talaga mahirap. And even looking at lewdly at the people, yung mga ano mo, other people, hindi ka mapansinin ng mga babae. But if you do that in a private, in the confines of a place, tapos you start, well, anyway, yun ang, now, I was in Holo yesterday, tapos dito sa Buanga. So, I pinned some medals on the wounded soldiers. Out of the 6 doon at seriously, sabi ko, makita ko kasi may tag eh. So I would say, ano nga, maranaw? Maranaw ang lula ko eh. Maranaw ka? Hindi, ano ka? Tausog. So I could just imagine na itong bayan na ito, even the Tausogs are killing each other. I agree with President Ramos. It can never be a real fight. You'll just have to talk. But itong kasi I was asking point-blank questions. Sabi ng media doon, Presidente, pang-anim mo nang balik to dito sa wounded, pati yung namatay ng mga sundalo. Kailan mo tapusin yung mga abusayap? Sabi ko, anong gusto ninyo? I mean, I could do it. I could burn Hulo now. I could bomb the place. And in the mountains, mag-carpet bombing ako. And I would tell the military, after the operation, ayaw ko makita na isang tao standing. Do you want me to do that? And if I kill children and innocent people and all, can we survive as a nation? Same in Lanao. We're talking with the MI, at least si Ms. Wari lumabas na. Kasi sabi ko sa kanila sa cabinet meeting, look, if you deprive Ms. Wari of his liberty, you may grant that he was a criminal of sorts sa Zamboanga siege. But hindi mo pinalabas yan, may sakit yan. At kung lumabas yan, ikulong natin. And if he dies in our custody, for whatever reason, then we will no longer have any peace at all. You might as well prepare the children to say, you have to deal with these wars. If we cannot end it, kagaya sa Samar, Lanao, dito Lanao, in all of the Muslim areas, nag-landslide ako. I can't talk to them. Ang problema, MIMN, okay na. Sinor is separate. Ayaw niya magipag-merge eh. So separate. But he is out. So let him out. He is old. He will not run away. He cannot run away. It's impossible. Kasi kung hayaan mo siya, sabihin nga, there's a warrant, hayaan mo yan. Warrant yan. Mabuti ang warrant yan kung makasagot sa atin yan kung magbakbaka na.
We're trying to avoid one.
I see the wisdom now of President Ramos. Kasi siya doon pagka medyo malapit na ang mga sundalo, will order atras. At sabi natin, ano nangyari ito sa... Bakit ganon? Ngayon na ako na, alam ko na tama siya. No, when there's a group there which is affiliated with ISIS, and ito yung mauti. So sabi ng mga sundalo, they raided some places there, but it was in connection with arms and because I have commissioned the entire armed forces of the Philippines to assist or fight with the PNP. Ngayon, what will we do? We'll just have to wait. We just have to talk and talk. What we will pass on to the next generation is a talking administration. We cannot pass it on ilang taon lang, 2 or 5, 6 years, a new generation of graduates of the PMA and another set of national officials and cabinet. You cannot pass a fighting, a war, or a country at war. That is for certain. Storya lang talaga. Madali man sa hulo. Tatawagin ko lang yung helicopter. Papasabugin mo ng rocket lahat mga bahay dyan. So, then I report to you, we scored a victory today. We will do it tomorrow. Then we add the pile of bodies in one corner and how it would appear before us. Wag na yung Amerikano. Human rights violation. It's war. I declared war against drugs. Pero itong rebellion, because it is ideology-driven, so we are lucky. We are not talking to the communists sa Oslo. So our soldiers are freed of, medyo there's peace in the bundoks. Pwede kong gamitin lahat sundalo doon sa Hulo. You invade Hulo and the rest of the places there. Kill everyone with arms. It will not. It will worsen the situation. Believe me. Ang delikado niyan itong ISIS. That is why you have to use your head. Do not drive them to despair, because that is precisely what happened in Africa. Pagka sinagad mo yan, and they're driven into desperation, instead of groupings dyan, they're driven by Muslim nationalism, or Moro, for that matter, para maintindihan nyo, it's a Moro nationalism, because they are really the owners of Mindanao long before the Spaniards came. Kaya hindi mo matapos-tapos yan, kasi kanilang lugar yan. And what is the driving force? Nationalism of their land. By the way, baka magtanong ko, it's my mother actually, who is the son of a Maranao, or a daughter of a Maranao, but my father was really Chinese. Lam. He used the Roa because nung Devo rather, of that time was, you adopt the name of your lawyer when you apply for naturalization. Yun yan. So medyo pa na yan. But my father is Cebuano. But when I am asked, because we trace our lineage from our father, is a Cebuano, Bisaya ako, but I never lived in Cebu even for a moment. So that is how it is in our country today. Itong droga ang pinaka, because it would leave us in its wake so many insane persons. I'll give you, I'll end, but I'll give you a food for thought. Sleep on it. At 200 pesos per day, for 1 month, that is 6,000 every month. Times 3 million yung sa PDEA, it's 18. 6,000 times 3 is 18 billion a month. Times 12 months, it's 216 billion a year. Palagay natin wala masyadong trabaho yung iba. Kasi walang trabaho ang Pilipinas. So, where do they get the 200 to sustain the habit? They rob, they kill, hold up dito sa Maynila. Medyo ngayon, wala na. But that's only for the nonce. For the moment lang yan. Takot kasi. So, sabi ng mga nagtatrabaho sa gabi, wala na yung mga standby. O how do we make it permanent? Well, in the coming days, I will make it a must, a mandate, that lahat kayong natamaan ng droga, huwag kayong lumabas ng bahay. Wala man akong prisuhan, pumasok kayo sa bahay ninyo, mag-lock kayo. Huwag ka lumabas kayong putang ina kayo, papatayin ko kayo. Huwag makita o kayo sa labas. Wala man ako. What can we legislate Congress? And can we legislate fear, respect for the law? Wala. Hindi mo pwede itong tapik-tapik na, Adre, nang kawawa naman yung Pilipinas. Huminto ka na. Because of the money. Yung mga Chinese, I even confronted the ambassador. Sabi ko, do you have something to do with this? So, bakit ka namin ang in-check na kayong mga in-check, do not be offended. Pareho tayong in-check. So, that is the presidency at the moment. At this point in time, I have to deal with the rebellion that's getting worse. Yung tinatawag na, he's popular to you, si Bravo. Meron na siya doong gobyerno sa Mindanao. And most of his constituents really are also Moros. Meron, pag nakasala ka doon, kulong ka. Hulihin ka niya pag, drug pusher ka. Bayad ka lang sa kanya. Siya magsintensya. May siyarelo eh. Sintensyahan ka. Tatagago talaga. Pagkatapos, may pera ka, pabili ng kita na sabon ng mga pinsan mo, mag-utang ka, bayad ka sa kanya. 10,000. Sabihin niya doon sa libro niya, sa treasurer. Yung 5,000 kanya. Galit na yan. We were talking about it last night in Davao, what to do. Saka I will decide. Maghanap ako ng maranaw, isip-isip ko si Dabs Mamao, yung presidential advisor for, siguro, I'll give you, siguro mga 20 days to get rid of Bravo. But one of these days, I said, I'll be forced to ask the security forces of the, unahin mo na yan. Kasi in fairness to the Moro leaders, Murad and all, hate drugs. Pagka ang ng mission ng police doon, pati army, papasok sa territory, and it's a drug mission, di may left, hindi makialam. So that is really a something which we should appreciate. So we have to deal with the traditional Moro. We try to avoid the contamination of ISIS. What we are afraid of is if the ISIS are pushed out and they lose a land mass, kailangan ka magluto, magiligo. They will try to come to Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, because they have declared the caliphate, the kingdom of the caliphate dito. What will I do? Well, sa drugs, I said, I will not allow, babakin dito sa, even in front of the, what will I do? I will not allow you to destroy my country. Criminals, I will have to deal with you one way or the other. Corruption, I ask everybody working under me, under this government, under the executive department, to please hear me out. Kasi talagang upakan kita. I will not, that's why I'm opening the RPTV. Yung every day they can text the official, never mind about libel nandun. Sabi ko, sige, lagay ninyo ang pangalan ng tao, opisina, lagay mo kung anong hiningi sa'yo. And it will lalabas yan doon sa, and so the people of the Philippines can just tune in and they would know the idiots who are corrupting this country. We may be wrong. And no doubt about it, I'm willing to apologize every day that we commit a mistake. Fair is fair. Pero yung iba, pasensya kayo. Then I will ask for hiyain talaga kita. We'll ask you to resign. That's the only way. Pag marami ng, I'll just file charges against you, suspend you. Or ask Congress, mamili kayo. We remain on good terms, or you help me in the corruption. Abolish the office. Bahala na ba? No, abolish the position. You just allow the second echelons to continue the work. May mga abogado man, mga deputy dyan. So, kayong lahat, I'll end this by saying, I am a Bedan. Ang lahat ng, yung ibang nakikinig ngayon, pasensyahan na lang tayo. Kasi ako, naging presidente, sino ba nakilala ko? Mga classmate ko sa San Beda, sa dormitoryo, si Layasay, si Dulay, kaharap ko sa dormitoryo yan. So, sino ang crowd ko? Davao. So, saan ako kukuha ng magagandang lalaki na wala man akong barkada dito? Kayo mga taga-Dasmariñas sa Forbes Park, mga Magallanes. Hindi naman niyo ako niyaya kasi mahirap lang kami. Do not cry about the loss of opportunity. Hindi ko kayo, kilala ko si Tugadi, bright. Bingbong, taga Davao, taga San Beda, bright. Bit Aguirre, bright. Si Soljen, saan ka ba? Marami ka pang kaso, pati yung palang naglibing ng, dinibanda. Patay ka. So, we all work together. Pero ako, you will have the preference. But I will not say it, I will not say the name. Pero kung may mga bakante dyan, and I know that it is lalo na prone to rotten corruption, mamimili talaga ang tao. But kung taga San Beda, honest, lalo na kung maganda, lumipat ka na sa Malacanang. You will have the, unahan ko kayo. Kasi naman yung, but I can assure you that at least makita ninyo, number one is really corruption. Matagal na tayong medyo we are like, sabi ko nga pati aeroplano na tumatakbo ng runway, endless, ayong mag-lift off. So, I may succeed, I may fail, but one thing you can be sure of. What yung lumabas sa bunganga ko na yung mga pangako ko, maging totoo talaga. Corruption, stricto talaga ako. Billy Dulay was in front. Magka-roommate yan sila ni Belio, puro Ilocano. Kami naman ni Yasay. Ang problema kay Yasay, kung sa dormitoryo kami noon, maintindihan ko yung English niya. Pero ngayon, I'd like to report to the cabinet that the meeting was known in the United States and sabi sinatago kay Bigo, sino itong putang ng Amerikano na to? Kasi mataas yan, di mo makita eh. Sino itong Amerikano na itong yawa na ito? Never employed anyone. And I have to make a follow-up today because, there's always a chance that we have to talk to this guy and believe ako, foreign secretary mo, foreign affairs. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat po sa ating presidente. Mangyari pumunta sa in front po ang Justice Francisco Acosta at ang presidente ng Alumni Association, Attorney Avelino Cruz, the chairman, kayo po yung presidente, I'm sorry, and the other members of the Alumni Association. Meron po kayong igagawad sa presidente. Kayo po. Ay, yung medallion. Saan yung medallion? Where is the medallion? Kat, medallion. Asan? 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 Okay. Bibigay niya. Okay. Ito. Ano? Sabay pa yan. Mike. Ay, hindi naman ako makaganyan.
This is Beda Law Alumni Association elevates President Rodrigo Roa Duterte to the 2016 Beda Law Hall of Fame in recognition of his distinguished legacy in the field of government service, thus becoming a source of pride and inspiration to young Bedans to be great Filipinos. His exemplary professional achievement and commendable government service is continuously building a fully human, wholly Christian, and truly Filipino community, striving to make the kingdom of God a reality in this world and a faithful embodiment of the Benedictine ideals of peace, prayer, and work. Given this 26th day of November, in the year of the Lord 2016, during the Beda Law Homecoming, Shangri-La, at the Fort Bonifacio Global City, Taguig City. Signed, Justice Francisco P. Acosta, President ng Beda Law Alumni, Attorney Avelino V. Cruz, Chairman Emeritus ng Beda Law Alumni Association, and Father Aloysius. Ano ba yung sinasabi niyo? Akala ko may problema kayo eh. Very Reverend Father Aloysius Maria Maranan, OSB, Rector President sa Beda College.
Pwede. Alam nyo eh.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you
you very
Board of
much po.
Trustees. May we call on...
Okay. One more. Yung director, so ready.
Okay.
Pwede na.
Marami pong salamat.
Maraming pong salamat
So,
sa ating Alumni
may we call
Association.
on the representatives of Class 91 for the
Yes.
presentation of the plaque of appreciation to
Opo.
our guest speaker.
Okay. We would like to call on Attorney Joseph De Chavez, Attorney Rizal Castillo, and Attorney Teddy Pastrana. Ito po ang bigay natin sa Presidente from batch 1991. Asan yung tugtog? Asan yung tugtog? Ang tugtog, bilis. Lisa D. Hindi kakanta. Bakit?
Maraming salamat po, Mr. President, Mayor.
Thank you po.
Maraming salamat.
Palaging kayong kamay ng kamay. Thank you po. Oo.
Sana nagtapat na tayo. Mas maganda yung grado ko.
Oo, sige po. Ano ko? Oo, mas kaputi mo. Nakita ko kati. Okay. As we... May we now call on to serenade the President at sa ating lahat, may we call on Justice Lisa D. Palakpakan po natin.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so honored to sing for you tonight, especially to my batch.
Uy, pumalakpak kayo!